HP, I really don't want to be making this video. I promise I don't want to have to, especially after the whole Samsung saga. But I can't believe I have to, and really I have no other choice. So those of you that don't know, I bought a Chromebook, actually, let's start there, back in January, the HP Chromebook X2. It's not exactly a cheap Chromebook. In fact, I have the page up right here. As you can see, it's £800, but it's detachable, as you can also see, and it comes with a pen. And I felt that even though it was a Chromebook for my on-the-go needs, when Chromebooks usually cost like £200 to £300, this was a perfect fit. In fact, I have my previous Chromebook still, which I did pay £220-ish for, and I'm using because I don't have my X2, which I sent for repair back in February. You see, I really loved my HP Chromebook X2, but there were some highlights on the display, some like hotspots, and there also seemed to be some dead pixels, which meant that I could use it, but there's a bit of an inconvenience. However, it was under warranty, and I was like, wait a second, HP usually have really good warranties, and I'll just send it in. So I did exactly that, and I thought it'd be fine, but clearly not. In fact, if we go on to here, this is the customer support page. Now, I've removed some details. There used to be a customer support number here, and my address was here, but that's been removed for obvious privacy reasons. Now, they received this device on the 26th of February, 2019. If I type date into a tab real quick, you'll see it's now the 2nd of April, which is useful. Which means they've had this device since 2 months ago. Now, I sent this device in for a simple screen replacement, because that's all it needs, the screen to be replaced. And you'll see that the day they received it, there was a new expected delivery date. That expected delivery date being the 21st of March, which, just in case you're not tracking, was about 2 weeks ago from today's date, which is the 2nd of April. Now, the reason for this was they said they had to put the unit on hold due to a component shortage. Now, I want to take a second to remind you that this component shortage is a lack of displays. You know, the most common thing on a laptop, the thing that most devices have, and is probably the only consistent point apart from the active pen between different SKUs. Now, when I spoke to HP, they said the reason for this was because their UK SKU had potentially a different display to their US SKU, because the device I had was a US SKU. However, it's a laptop, and in fact, the only things they change between these devices, apart from the keyboard, that's technically a different device because it's detachable, is the RAM, the CPU, and the storage, which is all part of a motherboard and has no impact whatsoever on the display. Now, the repairs team was supposed to contact me last week to tell me why it had taken so long, but surprise, surprise, they didn't contact me. And then on top of that, it's been radio silence. In fact, I've had to contact their support via online on multiple occasions, and all they've been able to tell me to do is to wait. And they've been making excuses, like they can't know how long it'll take. Let me bring up Facebook Messenger to show you these conversations. They have been honestly agonizing. So if I bring this up right here, I believe this is good to share. Here we go. So I've reached out multiple times. I asked for an update. As you can see, it's just been honestly unreal. As we get through here, they say, thank you for your patience. You will receive the repair details on collection of the unit. I request you wait for delivery, which is honestly crazy, because what they're saying is, we can't tell you why it's late until you get it, which we don't know when will happen because it's late. When I tried to explain that the differences are in chips on my motherboard and is otherwise physically identical, they say, we don't know how to help with that. And then it's honestly crazy. They say they'll reach out. I like how it starts off pretty professional, right? Like, hello, George, thank you for reaching out to HP Facebook support. And then it just like falls apart. Like a couple times before I contacted them, it's like, welcome to HP Business WhatsApp support. Like, even your support is falling apart, guys. And then the person starts, and then the people like aren't able to form complete sentences. It just goes, regret what has happened. Like, I do regret what has happened. I regret sending it to you. It's frankly ridiculous. And then the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, had been the fact that I asked for a customer complaints team number, and they missed the leading zero, which in the grand scheme of things isn't too big a deal, but is still kind of annoying. And on top of all of this, I still have no idea where my Chromebook is. And I should mention this, it was perfectly usable before I sent it in. Like, the hotspot was a bit of an inconvenience, but it didn't stop the device from functioning. But now I don't have it at all, and it's been sat on a bench for literally 2 months. Now, HP, you probably won't end up seeing this, but if you do, honestly, shame on you. This is frankly ridiculous. I've been waiting for way too long for this device, and I honestly am just making this out of frustration, because at this point, I have no idea when I'm getting my device back. Like, I've called on multiple occasions, all I've been told is wait for us to reply, and then got on silence until I reach out again. This is frankly crazy. Now, you're probably thinking, but George, how could HP possibly resolve a parts shortage? And I'm glad you asked, he says sarcastically, whilst really pissed off that he doesn't have his device back. Now, there are multiple ways I'd address this situation. Firstly, having the basics, such as a display, on site in your repair service place is a fundamental, right? If I do parts services, surely I'd have displays the device that most commonly breaks ready to go at any given moment in time. And secondly, if you're a company like HP and you have like a bajillion of these devices coming in on a daily basis, maybe when you have a delay, what you don't do is repair them one by one and send them out on an individual basis, but you realize that maybe we should be repairing the short-term repairs as quickly as possible and sending them off, right? So if you have 6 devices that come in that are broken, right? Or better still, maybe you have like a couple of spare devices, right? You have like a bank of devices, okay, right? Hear me out here. So you have like 10 refurbished devices that you can't sell as new anyway, so they're not at full retail value. And someone sends one in, and if it's a quick repair, you send it off right away, right? If it's a slow or on hold repair, then you get it. And regardless of how long that takes to repair, you send off one from your buffer, right? So you lose that buffer device, but once that long repair is done, you have that device back in your buffer. So that way, you're able to not have million years of delay on every single device that's sent in because you don't have the necessary parts at that given moment. My point here is, HP, at no point should this ever take 2 months for a simple display replacement. It's literally a 30-minute job. Like, the actual process of replacing the display isn't that difficult, and it's not a really bizarre part to break. If I'd cracked my display, I'd have expected it to take no longer than 4 days, especially from HP of all companies. So HP, if you're listening to this, basically I'm pissed off. Like, at the very least, what you could have done is sent me a refurbished device and said, listen, the repair's going to take forever, or at least a courtesy device so that I can use something for all the last 6 weeks of being completely deviceless and not having a laptop on the go. This video is going to be accompanied with a very strongly worded email to the HP CEO, because there is a contact the CEO page on the HP website, and I'd be a fool not to use it, so use it I shall.